You know, when you think about being an entrepreneur, two things come to my mind. One is leadership and the other one is selling. And just by the nature of entrepreneurs' backgrounds, some people from a personality standpoint or just their emotional understanding of who they are prefer one of these concepts. Either they're a leader or they're a salesperson. And what I've come to understand, being around entrepreneurs for 40 years, is actually it's the same activity that in both cases, that if you're a great leader or you're a great salesperson, you're doing exactly the same activity. And what I mean by that is that you're taking people into the future. That essentially what leadership means is selling people on a future desirable result that's good for them if you're a good leader. And if you're a great salesperson, you're doing exactly the same thing, is that you're leading people into the future so that they can actually see a future desirable result that's good for them. And so I like you to think about this, because I think that there's a bit of a conflict that sometimes happens in entrepreneurs' minds between what happens in the front stage when they're out with clients and customers and what happens backstage when they're with their team. And I think oftentimes they say, well, I prefer to do the one or the other, but in my case, I kind of see that I'm selling in the front stage, I'm selling in the backstage, I'm leading in the front stage, I'm leading in the backstage, and whether you want to call it leadership or selling, it's exactly the same activity. And I don't think you can be a great leader without being a great salesperson, nor do I think that you can be a great salesperson without being a great leader. So when you're thinking about yourself, there's just a couple of tips I'd like to give you. Just remember that leadership and selling are exactly the same thing in the entrepreneurial world. The second thing is that it has to be about other people and their future desirable result. If you do that, it'll simplify your own understanding of how you can get better as an entrepreneur, but also it'll remove all that conflict that I think happens with a lot of entrepreneurs between what's going on in the front stage when they see themselves as selling and when they're in the backstage when they say, I'm supposed to be leading. It's the same activity.